Hi, my name is Jason Lowndes. I am again going to give a quick overview of the Sitter Start Fantasy Sports app. As you can see, I am going to be playing with that on my Motorola Xoom. It's fully supported for the 3.x or 3.2 or whatever the current version of the Android is. So once again, it loads very quick. It's a very lightweight app. As you can see, the Pro version here, all the sports are supported. You can quick go in here. We have a live score section, leaderboard section broken out by position and statistical category. We have team rankings. You can click through a team and see some greater detail as to how the team is performing in their conference, against on the road, at home, within their division, as well as a streak, points for, points against. And then you have a team breakdown where you can go in and actually click through teams and get a roster breakout by position and have an idea of how different players are doing. So you have our fantasy performance indicator here that lets you know in terms of their actually fantasy points, how their kind of return has been in the previous week. You have some key stat data, and you're able to click through. So if we just click through here, well, that was Ryan Mallett. No one really wants to see him. But Tom Brady, will click through, and you see some greater detail for the player, a stat breakdown of all their key categories, as well, again, as their fantasy performance indicator. And if we go back to the team roster, one of the things we did is we have the ability to click through previous season, and you'll see a complete breakdown of their 2010 stats right now. Here's Ben Jarvis Green Ellis last year. Rushed 1,008 yards. He had a pretty decent year. Pretty damn decent year. So right now we have many key categories. And if we just scroll back down here, we have headlines. So these are now NFL headlines. We have ESPN, Yahoo, and CBS headlines. We have player status, which is an injury report, which gives you, as you can see, a breakdown by player. We have our players here, their current status, their reason for their injury, and the date that this was reported. So here's the Miami Dolphins, and we basically list out who's questionable, who's probable, and who's out on a given day, as well as the reasoning, who's inactive or IR, and we have that breakdown for every team, and it's updated every day. We have our fantasy projections, week by week, as well as for the entire season. We give you an estimated and actual result that a player has received based on their fantasy projections. As you can see, for week 2, we have their estimated column and how they actually performed in red and green. If it's red, they didn't perform as well, they didn't meet their estimate, and the green is they were above their estimate. And if you click in through a player, you could actually see their fantasy points, passing, like all their key categories that they were estimated to have for a given week. Let's go back to the main page. So we have our team power rankings, which is a breakdown of how the teams rank purely at the team level. We have our expert player rankings, which is a group of experts choose which players in which order they feel that they're going to perform the best in on a given week. As you can see, week 3 here, Tom Brady's number 1. No big surprise there, the way he's been playing. So we have our top performers, which right now, week 3, there's no data. But week 2, as you can see, Tom Brady was number 1 in terms of quarterback rating. Not sure if you can see that, but basically by position and by week, we give you a breakdown of who was the top performers in any given section. And we also give you a sense of the fantasy scoring leaders. For a given week, we will show you Adrian Peterson here scored 26.1 points. We use a standard scoring system, but we give you a breakdown of in each position, how do players perform in terms of fantasy points. So we give you, like here in running backs, it's the top 90 or so. And if we go back to the outside here, we have our key element in our SOS player compare, which allows a player or a fantasy player such as yourself to choose a position, so let's say quarterback, And then you're able to select two different players. We're going to select Ben Roethlisberger and Cam Newton, and we're going to do a compare. So our SOS player compare really gives you the ability to take two players and see a side-by-side comparison of these players and see how they're doing in relation to each other. So right here, we highlight the areas where they are performing better. So right here, we have Ben Roethlisberger on the left and Cam Newton on the right, and Cam Newton is far outperforming Big Ben. We also provide their player rank, their estimated fantasy points, their team power ranking, how their fantasy point return has been, and their current player status. I'm not sure if you could see this much detail, but both players are currently probable. So at the bottom of all this, after we give you this stat breakdown where you could actually see for the season who's been performing better, we give you kind of a conclusion and advice section where, based on statistics, who you may want to start, based on their actually fantasy projected points, who you may want to start, based on expert opinions, who you may want to start, and based on their team power ranking. So we'll go back out to the main page. So that's the app in a nutshell. Week by week, we will have the live scores. You can see here we have our winners and losers in the finals and which TV station that the game is playing on. But that's our app in a nutshell. We basically wanted to create an application that people would be able to go to one spot to get everything they need. They could go to their fantasy lineup and say, well, I have this player and this player. Who should I really start this week? And this app is hopefully designed, and it's going to evolve and keep evolving as an app that is just going to help you with that. Give you all the information you need to make a decision of who to sit and who to start. And that's Sit or Start Fantasy. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you get our app. All right, bye.